This is my fishing report for February 9th. And one of the questions I get is, how's the fishing? I always get that question. Well, just go into the water conditions. It's actually, with that big influence of rain that we had and all the flood waters, well, everything's clearing up. The delta's clearing up, the lakes are clearing up, and the temperature warming. The water temperature, in lakes, I'm finding it in the 50s, and in the delta, it's probably right around there. But everything looks good. The water clarity, but the fishing is tough. And I think basically why it's tough is, we got a full moon, we have cold nights still. It's still dipping in the mid 30s, and that's no good. And the daytime temperature has only been getting up in the 68s. Up at Berryessa, it feels like it's in the 70s, but everything looks really good. But I think with that big influence of rain that we had, it has these fish in a little shock. So I went to the delta the other day, and it was pretty tough. It's probably, I could say when I got there, the water temperature was right around 50 degrees. I could see down 2 feet. The water was a little greenish color, so it was really looking good. But you know what? I never got a bite. The 2 people I went with never got a bite. Never got a bite. And we put in, a good 7-8 hours, and I never got bit. So it's really tough. Then I turned around and I went back up Berryessa, and the water temperature here in the morning was 51, 52, and by 11 o'clock it was 54 degrees. And there's areas in the back of the coves that was 54, 55, 56 degrees. But I'm catching fish 30 to 60 feet of water. We caught some nice spots today, and we hooked quite a few, and the fishing was pretty decent for being a tough day. But if you look at the weather out here and you see the bright sun, the water temperature, it's kind of green, and you get temperatures in the 54 degrees, those fish ought to be in 5 to 10 feet of water, but they're still deep. And the reason is, I think, is because at night it's still dipping in the 30s and they haven't acclimated yet, but they real soon. So I'm anticipating, if we have this kind of weather in the delta next week, it's going to be on fire. So let's get on with this other report that I do. I always start in saltwater. The crabbing's been excellent still, so crabbing is good, but you can't do nothing else. You can fish for the little flat soles, which are very tasty, but that's all you could do. There's nothing else but go get your crab. And other things, when we come inside the bay, there's nothing going on around in the bay right now. I'm sure you could probably pick up some stripers, but it's been kind of quiet. Then when you start moving into the delta a little bit, in the backish water by Martinez and Pittsburgh, the sturgeon fishing is starting to pick up. So they've been having some big sturgeon derbies, and I hear they're catching fish. I know there's a lot of people catching them in the Sacramento River from Hood as far up as Knight's Landing. And the preferred bait has been eel, which is available now, and roe. So, you always got that sturgeon where you could go and the water is kind of dirty, but they like that kind of water. Other things going on, we'll stay in the river, is steelhead action. They're still catching a lot of steelhead in American. Austin Wilson is a friend of mine. He caught 11 the other day, up to 10 pounds. And he was in American. I haven't heard too much of the feather. I know they did a smolt plant in the feather probably like 3 weeks ago, and the local guys caught a lot of stripers. Once they put them smolts in the water, it's like, I don't know if it's them dumping the smolt with all that water, but those fish seem to find it within 2-3 days. They're on them. So there was a lot of stripers up there. I don't know about now. You probably have to go up and check for yourself. But the striper fishing in the delta has been kind of slow. I think it's that same trend that we're experimenting, on the lakes and the bass for delta. When I was down in the delta the other day, thought I was grafting a lot of stripers and thought I'd pick up some, but I never got bit. So it's very tough right now, but it will change real quick. I think we have to wait till the temperatures at night get in the mid 40s, and then in the daytime 70s. And I very well predict it's going to be a really good season. So other things going around here, you go to your mother lode lakes, the trout fishing's really good. I heard Amador's clearing up a little bit. Comanche, they've been stocking the heck out of it. They've been stocking all those lakes, Collins. So if you want to go out and get trout, I would head probably Comanche, Amador, Collins. Another sleeper is, I heard, is Rancho Seco. And also, Fishing in the City was planting a lot of these little ponds like Howell Park and stuff, and you could go over there and catch some. But other than that, we were up here today, well, yesterday up at Berryessa looking for crappie. You know, I could graft them, but they're not biting. And, you know, it could be that in 1 week the lake rose 20 feet, so those fish haven't acclimated yet. Graft a ton of them, saw them on the live, just couldn't get nothing to bite. So one of the other things, come time real quick here, is going to be big stripers in the delta. And I anticipate probably maybe in a couple weeks if we get this kind of weather. And I did a thing at the ISC show in Sacramento, and we did video on it, and last Monday we did one which was episode 1, and this coming Monday is episode 2. So if you want to see how I demonstrate the lures and how I make them swim real slow, where those big fish like to ambush those things, I think this year is going to be a good year to do this kind of fishing. So if you like my videos, please hit the like and please subscribe, because it'll help the channel out a lot. If you go down to the bottom and hit the comment, you can leave me a comment, and usually in 1 or 2 days I'll get back with you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.